like the IDP camps around that we go to, you will see that around the IDP camps, there are massive structures. There are companies that are doing very well, and yet we have people that are impoverished, that are so impoverished. But if we tell ourselves the truth, this is manpower.
Mm-hmm.
One of our strengths as Nigeria is because of our population, the size of our population. If we can only harness the size of our population by harnessing the strength, the capacity that we have in these human beings, then we're going to grow beyond. Our economy is going to grow.
Welcome to episode 3 of Touching Lives. I'm your host, Tammy, and today we have a remarkable guest who embodies the spirit of compassion and service. Join me in welcoming the founder of Hope Raises Global Foundation, Ambassador Mrs. Angonimi David Ime, a renowned peace ambassador decorated by Change Ambassador Network, and a tireless advocate for empowerment of internally displaced persons. Through her organization, Hope Raises Global Foundation has been instrumental in providing critical support and resources to those affected by conflict and displacement. Her selfless dedication to promote peace, education, and economic empowerment has transformed countless lives. Join me today as she shares a remarkable journey, insight, and passion for creating positive change. Hello, Ambassador Angonimi. Welcome to Resonate with Tommy podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for coming too. Let's start with your organization, Hope Raiser Global Foundation. What inspired you to start this NGO and what's its mission?
Hope Raisers Global Foundation is an NGO that is based in Abuja.
Okay.
We actually started many years ago, even before the registration of our name, Hope Raisers. Our work started right in the city of Aba in 2011. It was born out of our humanitarian work was born out of a young couple who had difficulty in childbearing,
Okay.
and we didn't really give it a thought before we got married. You know, the euphoria when you find a man finds a woman and the woman accepts. You know, the excitement that is in both of them. So when we were now seeking for a means of having a child, going to the hospital, it was getting really, it wasn't so nice anymore. It was stealing our joy. And then we advised that why not use this same strength and this same passion to do something else for humanity. And we were people that loved talents. You know, we understand that every human being has a talent that God has given to him or her. So we decided to put together a program in that year, December, to bring children a space for them to, you know, express their God-given talents. And then we had the planning. We started the planning, forgot about what we were focusing on. We focused right in the planning, and we got partners, people to partner with us, got a space for the event. It was 2011 December. And then we got schools to also partner with us. And it turned out to be very massive. The kind of crowd we got.
Wow.
The first day, we got over 2,000 people.
Wow.
Oh my world. They're like, what are we seeing? And then the excitement in the air, you know, that's Christmas atmosphere coupled with program to reach out to children. We had gifts, we had food, we had drinks. I remember that some companies gave us food, they gave us drinks because we wrote letters. Okay. And it was massive. The following day, the same thing. We outnumbered the first day. And we're like, okay, since this is coming, let's see how we could carry on with this work. And we found that a lot of people were excited, children were dancing. We saw a lot of talent display in the program, the 1 and 2. We had winners, we had gifts for every single child that was present in that place. So that was how we started. Now, I want to pause here to say something. That same December,
Okay.
because our attention was removed from conception, I got pregnant
Okay.
that very December.
Okay.
So at this point, I want to say that anyone that would listen to this, sometimes just remove the thought of your problems and try to see to the needs of others and watch what the earth is going to do for you, because there's something about the earth. Yes, I'm a Christian and I understand what the word of God says about when we meet the needs of others, but even nature in
Exactly.
itself recognizes when you remove yourself from the equation of wanting, needing, me, and focus your strength on another person. So I got pregnant, and that was how we got our first child. So Hope Raisers Global Foundation was birthed from, it was a place of pain, was a place of frustration, turning our frustrations into purpose, to look out for others in the society, to birth talent, to birth joy, to birth excitement, to birth what can better the lives of others. That was how it was birthed. And then I want to say that my inspiration as a human comes firstly, or can be traced to my mom. My mom is a very resilient person, and
Wow.
I remember growing up, she would never take a no for an answer. Someone that in those days, when families had disputes, she would intervene. She was always called upon. She served so tirelessly when mothers would be in labor and maybe their husbands are not there. She was the one that was called upon to come and assist. When husband and wife were having issues at home, she was the one that was called upon. When communities had crisis, my mother was always called upon, to the extent that she was given a chieftaincy title. I saw all of this growing up, and it inspired me so much. At that point in time, yes, I was looking at her just going, and she had a lot of us. We were 10 children. Just imagine a woman at that time giving birth to 10 children and not allowing the fact that she had that number of children to even stop her from pursuing her goals, pursuing her purpose, pursuing her passion, living out a life of destiny, living out a life of impact. She never allowed anything to stop her. In this daytime, talking about humanitarian crisis, we would have said she was someone that was always responsive to emergency situations. So that was one of the inspirations I got, and that was a very good one, because it was birthed from the home front. There's a saying that says charity begins at home. So I want to celebrate my mother. Thank God she's still alive. I want to celebrate her today, that the work that these hands of mine are doing can be traced to the woman that birthed me, the woman that she has always been, the woman that is very perseverant. And let me also share one of her testimonies. When Abuja was just formed many, many years ago, I remember she was the first person to bring women from our own area, from Bayelsa State, from Port Harcourt,
Okay.
to Abuja under the auspices of the NCWS.
Wow.
So my mother has always been a very outstanding leader, a women leader, a leader in her right, leader in the family, in the home front, leader in business, a
Wow.
very strong and driving entrepreneur. So coming back to why I am so passionate, or I'm inspired, dedicating my life, my time, dedicating myself to this work, is because there are some things that just drives me crazy. It makes me uncomfortable. And we were told growing up that when you see things that are driving you crazy, things that are not just going well with you, it is a telltale sign
Mm.
that that's where your passion is, and you are supposed to begin to bring out solutions to meet is if it's a challenge to meet the challenges, if it is a problem to solve the problem. So one of our catchment areas as Hope Raisers Global Foundation is on an acronym that is called DEED. DEED. DEED, and it stands for discover,
Mm-hmm.
educate, empower, and deploy. So at the time coming to Abuja, after all the work I'd done in the East, in Bayelsa State and in most of the states, we have touched most of the states in Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
coming down to Abuja and seeing that, okay, we discovered some IDP camps. We had to carry out some need assessments. We saw the problems and the challenges that these people were going, it was real.
Mm.
It was just too real to look and then to form or to keep a blind eyes towards what they are going through. So that was one of the inspiration of settling to look at the challenges faced with these people living in internally displaced camps.
Okay. What are some of the most pressing challenges you experience while providing aids to IDPs, and how has the organization overcome them to achieve successful outcome?
All right, it's in that regard, it has not been so easy meeting with the challenges and the pressing needs of the IDPs, like I earlier mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We we are an organization that understands what humanitarian aid is all about. We understand the social ills and the social vices that our people are going through, and then that is happening in the society. And we also understand the challenges and the pain points of these people. And one of the ways that we try to figure out, like our deed says, to discover their pain points is to have a kind of needs assessment.
Okay.
And then after we get the needs assessment, we try to see how we could, wade into the situation. One of the things that we have done is to always be there during their times of emergency responses, where we have to provide food that is needed, to sustain their lives, because you have to sustain life first before you even talk about clothing. And then another thing we do is we clothe them, we help their children, we take
Mm-hmm.
them back to school.
Mm.
I'm just going to cite an example of what happened in 2022. 2022, we had a program, a Christmas program. I remember when we were growing up, the excitement that
Mm.
is always around us when it comes to December period. December season has this atmosphere that just tells you that Christmas is here. And
Yes.
then there's this excitement, the
Mm.
family, where our parents will buy
The
materials, they
joy.
will make for the girls. I like said earlier, we're 10 in my family, 6 girls and 4 boys. All the girls will be on same outfit, and
Mm-hmm.
then the boys will be on same outfit. We always looked forward to December because it was a time that we were too sure that we're going to get new clothes, new shoes, hair, new hairdo,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those beautiful things. Take pictures, have a beautiful time with the family, where our rice and chicken will be prepared and all of that. So our team thought about something. They said, okay, since these people have a need of clothing, let's also take it forward and have a party for them, because we wanted to bring back joy, we wanted to bring back excitement that may have been taken away during the
Okay.
time of insurgency. Yes, now they have found themselves in a particular place that is not so good in the eyes. The living conditions in
Mm-hmm.
the place is not so good. But let's see how we could just, warm them up, make them know that their country loves them, their country, the people in their country, they are still, interested in their well-being,
Mm-hmm.
they're interested in their lives, and we know that it's a temporary situation. We brought in tailors to come take their measurements, and then we made them beautiful clothes for the Christian children, because it's a combination of the Christians and the Muslims. For the Christians, we made clothes for them. Our normal, Ankara, we sewed with gowns for the females,
Mm-hmm.
and then for the guys, tops and shorts. Then for the Muslim girls, we made hijabs for them. It was a fun experience. They were looking so beautiful, neat, and so excited. You could see the excitement in the faces of their parents. And then shortly, we had food, we had music, we had drinks to commemorate the season. And then an unfortunate thing happened. After December, we had all of those beautiful experiences. We didn't know that by January of 2023, something was going to hit them really hard. So we had a call for an emergency response. We needed to give them food and clothing and materials for the children to be able to go back to school. What really happened? Their camp was demolished again.
Wow.
So you can imagine.
Wow.
People that were just coming out from a beautiful festive season, they were now hit with this. We started calling out for funds, raising funds. People were responding, but I'm not going to say that we had 100% success rate during the emergency response period, but I'm going to say that we tried our best as it lied in our powers. We were able to provide them with food every 2 days. We were able to provide them with clothes. Were able to just meet those basic needs, toiletries, and then they also had their convenience destroyed, and their worship center was also demolished. So we were able to call a church that was able to come help them, assist them to erect their church building, which is still standing there until today. So in all, we'll say that if we're going to rate intervention, because it was not just our organization, because our organization cannot do it all. There were some other organizations that also came in, some other arm of government also came in. For us, I would say that we're able to meet like 70% of their needs at that particular point in time. So far, so good. They are back on their feet again.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. How does your NGO empower internally displaced persons to regain control over their lives and build resilience despite the trauma they have experienced?
They go through a whole lot. At this point, I want to say that we empower displaced children and youth, not just the children and the youth, also the mothers. We provide unconventional learning platforms.
Okay.
Where we periodically, at first, what we were doing was every week we were going to teach them values, morals. We had various topics, teaching them using biographies of those who had gone ahead of them, having the same kind of situation that they are facing, and yet they came out very strong. And teaching them about resilience, teaching them about their dreams, how valid their dreams are, because some of the children would tell you that they want to become a doctor. Some will tell you they want to become a nurse, a lawyer, a tech professional. They have dreams. They have dreams, and we allow them to say it out. And then we have affirmations we give to them to recite. We did a weekly visit for almost 2 years, taking the children on different topics. And then the truth of the matter is, one of the testimonies that I would say that came out of that was the response from the parents. Parents will always, you'll see a parent when we are there flogging a child. What are you doing outside here? Auntie and her team are here to teach you.
Wow.
Don't you know that we are experiencing something better, because since they started coming, our community is peaceful. The camp, the children, they watch out for one another. Anyone that is misbehaving in school or within the camp, It's been reported, and in fact, they started living like a family.
Wow.
Where each of them would look out for the other. And the parents were up and about. They became our volunteers. They became the ones that will come and, make the place to be serene enough for the children to learn, arrange the seats,
Mm-hmm.
stand by the door. Any child that is misbehaving, they will want
Nice.
to flog the child. Sometimes I'll have to say, no, 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 that's not why we're here. Please take it easy on the children. A lot of testimonies came out of that or those days that we had to provide these unconventional learning topics, platform for the children. And another thing we do is we buy their books because they go to school. We buy their books, their footwear, and then we follow up their progress because their progress is very important to us.
Yes, it
Follow.
is.
And how do we follow? We follow by asking questions, following up in their schools, following up with their parents, getting to know who is doing what and who needs more guidance to be better in the camp. So that is it.
Okay. What policies changes would you like to see to better support IDPs?
All right. So to better support internally displaced person, policies changes and advocacy efforts that we should focus on is number one, protection and assistance. A lot of them have gone through unimaginable experiences. Some have been abused, some have been molested,
Wow.
some have they've gone through a whole lot. So I want to say that there should be an enhanced legal framework where we'll strengthen national laws and policies to support IDPs, to support their rights, aligning it with international standards, not just a cut and paste policy. Then we have to increase funding, allocate adequate resources for their humanitarian aid, like infrastructure development and social services. And we should also improve access to education and healthcare. There's something about education. If you want someone who has not experienced a better life and you want the person to experience a better life, the first thing you do is a mindset reset. And one of the ways that can be done is through education. When someone is educated, even the sky cannot limit he or she. Because there are areas that the mind is going to be opened towards, that when you look at that particular individual in 3, 4, 5, 6 years from when you picked them up, you'll be so amazed at the enormity of the progress that person would bring or would have in their lives. And it has an effect. It has a positive effect on the person's family, on the community, and then the nation at large. So when we talk about education, it is a point that we cannot run away from. If we want our nation at large to be better than what it is, then we must make sure that we have improved access to education. And then we talk about their healthcare. If the health is failing, how can they be educated? So we have to ensure equal access to quality education and healthcare for IDPs. Then we should also have durable solutions. Most times we just do cut and paste. We don't allow time, to follow through processes to get the results, the kind of results that we should have. So we have to look at sustainable livelihoods, support economic empowerment through vocational training, entrepreneurship programs, and job creation. Because these are the ways that, okay, if you look at the IDPs, yes, they shouldn't be there longer than necessary. So when you equip them with all of these, it is possible for them to be reintegrated into the society where they find themselves, or they go back to their state of origin where they were brought from. Then the second is housing and infrastructure. We have to provide safe, dignified housing and investments in infrastructure development in host communities, because there are communities that house these people.
Yes.
Those communities we could now invest in infrastructural development so that they can be reintegrated after we have worked on their mind, their psychology, giving them some psychosocial support. They could be reintegrated into these host communities. And then we look at social cohesion, foster community integration through cultural exchange programs and social activities. All these are going to take time, but these are some of the things that we're going to do. Look at advocacy efforts. We raise awareness, amplify their voices, tell their stories. We promote, we promote global understanding and action. Then number two, we look at policy influence, engage government, international organizations, NGO to shape policies, supporting the IDPs. Then community engagement too is another aspect, by empowering local communities to take ownership of the IDP support initiatives. It's very important. You cannot tell me that, okay, like the IDP camps around that we go to, you will see that around the IDP camps, there are massive structures. There are companies that are doing very well. And yet we have people that are impoverished, that are so impoverished. But if we tell ourselves the truth, this is manpower. One of our strengths as Nigeria is because of our population, the size of our population. If we can only harness the size of our population by harnessing the strength, the capacity that we have in these human beings, then we're going to grow beyond. Our economy is going to grow. Our GDP per capita is going to skyrocket. We're going to be known for having the largest of the largest economies in the world, not just in Africa. So these are areas that we have to be concerned about. We have to put in our interest, to study, to look at the possibilities, to make policy documents that will stand the test of time. Not a one-off thing. No, we can always, retweak. We can always readjust when we see that, okay, we have implemented the implementation. We are not having the kind of results that we're supposed to have. We should retweak. We should go back to the drawing board. We should sit down. If possible, bring them to the table. Bring their leadership, because they have leadership. Let them come to the table. Let us have this conversation. It is not enough for us to do it in silos. No, we have to incorporate the people that are going to be recipients of our policy. And God is going to help us. God is going to help us.
Amen.
There's just a lot we can do. But finally, I'm going to say that for policy, we should hold on to our legislators for there to be a policy that would say that every IDP camp, whatever it is that happened, maybe there was a disaster of maybe flooding in the community or in the state, and then these people were removed from their houses to a safe place. Let it not be more than 6 months before they go back to their homes, before the environment is cleaned up, their houses are renovated, or whatever it is that we're going to do. We do it in a space of 0 to 6 months to take them back to their homes, so that they don't constitute nuisance, so that those places where they live in, because usually those places are not, they are shanties. And when you see a shanty, the next thing that comes to mind is hoodlums would want to have their hideouts in all of those places, causing a lot of insecurity challenges, causing a lot of disturbing the economy of the day-to-day living of the people, disturbing communities, the people living in the communities around, and all of these things will be they will take it back to the IDPs, that these are the people that are causing these commotions, as it happened some time ago before their camp was demolished. So we have to be very careful the way we handle that. We shouldn't forget that every single Nigeria has their human rights, and these human rights must be respected. Yes. They are citizens. This is their country. They should be treated likewise. and they should be given all that they need to be able to thrive and to be reintegrated, either to be reintegrated into the communities that they found themselves in, or to be sent back to where they came from after all the due diligences must have been put in place. Thank you.
Finally, how can listeners support your work and advocate for IDPs in Nigeria?
Number one, usually the challenges that we usually have as non-profits is funding. Funding is one of our challenge, and we also call for partnerships. We partner a lot. We are big on partnership because it's one of the SDG goals. SDG 17 talks about partnership. And when we work in silos, we work alone, we cannot go far. But when we lock our hands together to do the work, then you will see the numbers when we use our data. We know these people. It is recorded. We'll be able to monitor progress, and the progress is not going to be so small. It's going to be, it's going to be massive. So we are calling out for partners. If you run an NGO and you want to do something like we're doing, or you're already doing that, let's all put our hands together. Let's work together. We are a team. Let's work as a team. Have understanding, have our agreement, and all of that. So if you want to reach out to Hope Praises Global Foundation on Facebook, our name is Hope Praises Global Foundation. You can just check us out on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all other platforms. We are at HRG Foundation. At HRG Foundation. And then our URL is https www.hrgfoundation.com. Our number is also there. You can send us email. Our email is there. You can send us email. Let's have the discussions. Let's see how we can partner together, collaborate to see how much we can help our people. And I want to say that it's not just about entirely displaced people alone. We also do low-income communities. We have gone around a lot of states in Nigeria. One of our targets for 2024 is to reach out to 50,000 needy Nigerians using our DEED acronym to help alleviate poverty. And you know what's happening right now in Nigeria? Our economy is not so friendly, but when we put our hands together, we'll be able to, navigate through the season. It's a season and it is temporary. We'll all come out strong and progressive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ambassador Angonimi. Thank you for sharing your story and insight with us today. We really appreciate you. Thank you. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on this episode of Touching Lives. If you want to support or know more about Hope Praises Global Foundation, I will drop link in bio. Please, as usual, do not forget to like and subscribe to our podcast and also leave a review on this episode. Join us next week for another episode of Touching Life. Until then, take care.